it's Jenna from scribblinggrace.com. Today I'm doing a very simple and pretty quick Bible journaling tutorial video on what I am calling watercolor bricks. Really, it's just watercolor stripes that are in a brick-like pattern. And this is just one of those really simple Bible journaling pages that I wanted to share because I know that especially as beginners, we can kind of forget about easy artwork that we could do. It can sometimes seem really intimidating to do Bible journaling, but really you don't need that much skill to create a really beautiful background and a really beautiful Bible journaling page. So I wanted to share this page with you. So I normally do not prep my pages when I work with watercolor, at least the watercolors that I use, these Kuretake Gansai Tambi watercolors. I've never had any bleed through issues with them in an unprepared journaling Bible page. So I don't ever prep my page with them. I find it just hassle. It's an extra hassle, and it also, watercolors just react differently on top of page prep. So I don't normally prep my page, but this Bible that I'm working in, I am doing for my baby Clark, and I decided when I started this Bible that I really wanted each page to have at least that base layer of acrylic paint on it, because I really wanted them all to have a similar feel to the texture of each page. So one day when it's all finished, it'll just feel more cohesive. So I decided to go ahead and put down a layer of white paint before painting on my watercolor. And you can see that the watercolor pools up a lot more than it does if you don't prep your page. So I'm just sharing this as information. I usually would suggest don't worry about page prep, but it's always, if you're always nervous about using watercolor, you could totally prep your page. You're just going to have a little bit more of like pools, like you can see, and the watercolor just reacts a little bit differently, but it works totally on top of page prep as well. So that's just something to keep in mind. Anyways, as far as my painting here, I am just taking I believe this is a 1/2 inch flat paintbrush. I just use cheapo paintbrushes that come in those value packs that you can find at the craft store or Walmart. So I'm not using anything fancy. And I'm just dipping my brush in some water, picking up a color of that paint, and swiping it down on my page. And I'm just cleaning my brush in between each color. But I'm not worried about, mixing these outside of the palette or anything like that. I just grab the paint directly and put it straight onto my page. So nothing very complicated. So my watercolor set here is the 48 color set. So this is a new version where they have all the colors. And so I just got this one and I'm loving it. So I love having all these different colors to choose from, and I'm really just going through, just picking up different colors. I'm not really focusing too much on what colors go where. I'm just kind of like, okay, well, this area doesn't have a pink, or I haven't done a pink for a while, so let's pick up a pink, or maybe let's add some blue here. There's really no rhyme or reason to this, which is just great because we're not doing anything super fancy here. It's really just to spend time in the Word. And so the verse that I'm working on is Psalm 84 verses 1 through 2, which says, "How lovely is your dwelling place, O Lord of hosts. My soul longs, yes, faints, for the courts of the Lord. My heart and flesh sing for joy to the living God." And so I thought, okay, how lovely is your dwelling place? And I kind of was envisioning some kind of brickwork. And I thought, how fun would it be to just paint a bunch of colorful brick-like stripes in my Bible journaling page? So there's so many different ways that you could go about doing this. You could leave more of a white space in between each of these swipes, and then you'll get even more of that brick look with the grout in between. Or you could do it like I am, and I kind of wanted them close together, so if the paint could kind of smudge into each other if it did. I ended up not really having that issue, but either way, it would look really pretty. So I didn't leave all that much of a white space, but you definitely could. You also could totally just do this in one color, or a couple of colors that you want instead of doing it all these different colors like I am. This is really just to show you what I did so that you can have an example and have some inspiration. So that's really the only reason why I'm sharing this page. There's no real technique to this page to really show you. But again, I just want to encourage you to get in the Word and use your art and your creativity to create something beautiful for Him. So that's pretty much it. Again, I'm just picking up that paint with my flat paint brush and I'm just swiping it on. I'm doing a couple different swipes of the same color, so I'm not just doing one swipe. So if you don't get it right the first time, just keep going over it. I'm also just painting it until I get the width that I want. You could make these stripes really long. You can make them little squares. You could do so much with this idea. And I hope that you do. So if you do give this video a try, please tag me on Facebook or Instagram, and I'll put those links to my accounts in the description below. And I'll also put the links to the blog post that goes along with this video at scribblinggrace.com/watercolorbricks, and that's where you can find all the links to the supplies that I'm using. All right, so now I am done painting. That was really fast, wasn't it? I'm just drying my page with a craft heat gun here. It's a little bit different than a hairdryer, so if I have pools of watercolor paint, using a hairdryer would likely push those pools around and ruin my pretty stripes. And so I use the craft heat gun. It pushes hotter air and less forceful air, so it doesn't push those pools of paint around when it dries it. So now I'm going to go ahead and add my lettering, and I am writing out, "How lovely is your dwelling place." I also did another version of this painting in my ESV double column journaling Bible with just the 2-inch margins rather than this Bible, which is the ESV interleaved Bible, which has the full blank page. But in my my double column journaling Bible, I wrote out, "My heart and flesh sing for joy to the living God." And I'll put a picture of that page in the blog post that goes along this video. So I am using a Tombow Funosuke brush pen to do my lettering. This is the soft tip, I believe. Once I wrote out all my lettering, I decided that I wanted it to be thicker to be able to see it better. So I just went ahead over those downstrokes again to thicken them up. And I was really happy with how that turned out. So I personally love to do hand lettering because it's a skill that I worked really hard to learn. And it does take some practice, but and I do have tutorials on how to do this hand lettering as well, so you can find those. I'll put those links in the blog post that goes along with this video, scribblinggrace.com/watercolorbricks, for you to find those, and there's practice sheets and stuff for that as well. But if you don't want to do hand lettering, you could totally do stamps or stickers or any type of fun thing to add your verse there. So now I just went ahead with a Uniposca paint pen. You could also use a white gel pen. That's what I was going to use, but I couldn't find mine, so I just went ahead and used the paint pen instead. And I just went around all of my lettering to help it stand out a little bit more from the background. And then I just wrote out the date and my little prayer to my son, and that was it. I also ended up taping a little print of my son's feet, and I put that on the other side. I added it as a tip-in. I'm talking so fast, sorry. I added it as a tip-in on the page with the text. So I can flip that open, you could read the text. But that has this little 9-month footprints on it, and it's so cute. So be sure to head on over to that blog post to check out that as well. So you can see there's no bleed through at all from this page. I also did do that layer of that white acrylic paint, so acrylics don't bleed through at all. So that's it. I hope that you enjoyed this page. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. All right, much love, many blessings.